Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. I am half naked, but I'm still gonna continue like nothing happened. Today we are talking about Star Wars: The Bad Batch. Hey, Phoenix, aren't you like 3 weeks away? Like the show ended like 3 weeks ago. Why are you reviewing it now? Listen, guys, guys. I have a busy schedule and also screw you, alright? So, yeah, I know The Bad Batch came out like 2-3 weeks ago, but I'm reviewing it anyway, so bye. Anyway, so what do I think of The Bad Batch? I think honestly, before we talk about The Bad Batch, we should honestly I want to talk about how The Bad Batch came to be, just for those who don't know, and what my thoughts were. So The Bad Batch were a troop of clone commando dudes who were like in the Clone Wars, and they were like genetically mutated. So like we'll have a clone who's like really good at shooting, or one who can sense things, or blah 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 blah. And they showed up in the last season of Clone Wars, and in that arc, I thought the arc was fine. It wasn't bad. It was definitely good. Definitely had some enjoyable episodes, but it definitely could have been better. And really, the only reason they were shown there was so that they could have their own spin-off show. And that is what I am here to talk about, because everyone thought the Clone Wars was going to end, or at the very least, everyone thought Star Wars: The Clone Wars was going to end with Season 7. However, literal weeks after the season ended, Disney announced they were making a new show called The Bad Batch, which would focus on the Bad Batch taking place, and this show would take place like right after the Clone Wars, or like right after Episode 3. So a lot of crazy stuff was going to happen. Now, I remember back when I first heard this show was announced, I was so pissed because I was like, no, you can't do this. You can't make another show right after Clone Wars ended. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, that was a good enough finale. We already have a sequel to Clone Wars. It's called Rebels. By the way, for those who don't know, I am sort of a Rebels fan. I like the show enough. I know it's a bit kiddie, but it's a fun show. I like it. And so I know a lot of people, like after Clone Wars Season 7 got released, a lot of people were like, oh my god, I want to see a sequel show. Or, oh my god, I want to see the show continue. And most of these people are basically people who never saw Rebels. I'm guessing they saw Clone Wars, but they never saw Rebels, mostly because, again, they thought it was too kiddie, or they just never had the chance to see it. And so they only knew Clone Wars. So they're like, I want to see a sequel show or a season 8 of Clone Wars. And so Disney's like, hey, do I smell money? I smell profits. And so they make The Bad Batch so that people could watch it. And I was like, that's not fair. We already have a sequel show, Rebels. Are you really gonna undercut Rebels like that? Doesn't seem fair. And I was also kind of weirded out because from the description of The Bad Batch, it just seemed like a Clone Wars Season 8. And funny enough, it's even made by the same guy, Dave Filoni, who made the Clone Wars, who made Rebels, also made The Bad Batch. And he's like, and I'm like, you're making it from the same guy, same animator, same people, and you're not calling it Clone Wars Season 8. It's The Bad Batch. It's weird. So for the longest time, I was very pessimistic about this show. That is until the first trailer came out. And when I saw it, I was like, dang, this looks like it's going to be a good show. Like, I am hyped. But that's enough talking about the backstory of this show. Let's get into the actual let's get into the actual review of the show. What do I think of The Bad Batch Season 1? So, well, I didn't know how to start this review, so I figured there would be no place better to start than Episode 1. And Episode 1 is titled Aftermath. Makes sense because it's the aftermath of the Clone Wars. And let me just say that Episode 1 is not only the best season, or not only the best episode of this season, but one of the best Star Wars TV show episodes in general. It was amazing, like so good. And the fact that they made it like a sort of mini movie, I love it even more. The episode itself is like 75 minutes long, yet it just doesn't feel that way. It feels too short. I wanted to see more of it. We got to see the aftermath of the Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith. We get to see the Bad Batch on Kyler fighting against the droids. We get to see a young Kanan Jarrus, or I guess in this case Caleb Doom, fighting with his master, who for some reason they changed her lightsaber color from green to blue, which let's just take a side step for a second. Disney, what is with your obsession of blue lightsabers? Like, ever since Disney got the hold of Star Wars, literally everything Star Wars related to them, it's been a goddamn blue lightsaber, alright? Rebels, it was blue, but then they made Ezra change it to green because, haha, he's parallel to Luke, how funny. And, goddamn Mandalorian, they only gave Luke his green lightsaber because it was canon, and they knew the fans would have been pissed off if he didn't show up with his green lightsaber, so that's why they only kept the green lightsaber. Otherwise, if it was up to them, it would have been blue. Hell, in The Last Jedi, Luke held a blue lightsaber. In goddamn there's no lightsaber in Resistance, thank God. Also, who remembers Resistance here? But like, even in the Bad Batch, it changed like from green to blue. Ahsoka's lightsabers were changed from green to blue. What is with your obsession with blue lightsabers, Disney? Please talk to me. It's weird, all right? Personally, I'm a green lightsaber guy myself, so that's why I'm just finding this so weird. Anyway, I'm stepping aside from the story. So the first episode, that was really good. I really like, again, how we got to see the aftermath of the Clone Wars, how you just realize, oh crap, you know, a couple of hours ago, Rex and Ahsoka were like falling out of the ship. We got to see Order 66 again through a different lens, and it's crazy like how many POVs we can get of Order 66. And Disney's milkiness, and funny enough, I'm behind it. I'm here for more Order 66 POVs. Like, I am here for it. And yeah, it was a good episode. We even got to see Crosshair betray his brothers and join the Empire. Again, really good episode, really strong start. The problem is that is where this season peaks, or at the very least, that's where this show peaks. Yeah, episode 1 was their best episode. That's not to say that it's a downward spiral for the rest of the season. There were some good episodes here and there. It's just that none of them can compare to episode 1 is the problem. And that's the thing with this show, is that it's kind of flip-flopping between being a good show and just being a mediocre or okay show. Because I don't know how to explain it. Let's talk about the characters, for example. Like, we have the main characters, the Bad Batch themselves. I forgot, like 5 or 6. We have Hunter, who's the leader. We have Echo, who's the cyborg. We have Tech, the smart guy. Wrecker, the strong guy. And Crosshair, the sniper killer. And Omega, the obligatory kid. Because for some reason, in every single show, we have to have at least one kid. Anyway, and so like all of them get their own personality traits. But that's the thing. They only get personality traits. We don't get to see these characters evolve or grow, or how should I say? We don't get any deep, meaningful episodes of these characters. If it's not Hunter or Omega or hell, even Crosshair, the other characters are just kind of sidestepped and they don't really have their own chance to shine. These characters never really get to say what they do and don't like, or, you know, just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like all these characters get their chance to shine. Wrecker, for example, he didn't really get a chance to shine until the chip in his brain went off. And again, it was only for one episode and he wasn't acting Wreckery, so I guess there's that. Echo barely got to use his cyborgness. Hell, the only part of him that's cyborg is his goddamn arm, so I don't even know if he can be classified as a cyborg. He just has a prosthetic arm. Hunter doesn't even use his senses that much. Like, he doesn't use his senses to, like, you know, sneak around or, like, find people or whatever. So it's just weird. I think he only did it once, but it's like, okay. Omega was fine. Like, actually, if we're going to talk about Omega, I guess, out of all the kid characters in Star Wars, she's the one who is done well the most. Like, I like Omega as a character. They don't make her annoying. They make her naive and a bit dumb, which, yeah, could come as a bit annoying, but they make her very tolerable. Omega is a very fun and, you know, innocent character to follow around. And oh my god, I know I said the characters don't, like, get any deep or meaningful stories, but I love her relationship with Hunter. This, like, father-daughter relationship, oh my god, I love it to death. And sadly, again, it really only was like very present in the first half of the season. In the second half of the season, it's like still there, though not as present. And the first half of the season like made me fall in love with that relationship. I'm like, oh my god, I'm just taking care of Omega. You know, she's like a little egg. Nope. In the second half of the season, they're like, nah. Omega's a warrior. She's cool now. I'm like, what? Echo, not Echo, Tech. I know a lot of people don't like Tech, especially like considering his personality is a guy who knows everything, even the bad things before it happens, and he's like, I thought it was obvious. But I don't know, I kind of like that. I like that little sassy or emotionless Echo who's like, yeah, I don't understand emotions. I just like doing my own thing when I do it, so I don't really care. I am basically the droid of the team. Even though we have a cyborg, I am essentially the droid of the team. So I kind of like that about Echo. Though again, it's just a bit of his personality and not like the whole thing. And again, I just wish that for a show that focuses on these characters, because yes, these characters do drive the show. Like the show depends on the characters to drive it, not the story. And so I just wish we could see a bit more from them. I don't know. For a character-driven show, I wish we could have seen more of the characters. That way we have a better way to lean on them. And yeah, so now that I've talked about the characters, let's talk about the story, shall we? The story, again, focuses on everything that happens after Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. We get to see how the Empire is taking over the galaxy and how everything is being changed from Republic to Empire. The clones are getting out and the normal stormtroopers are getting in. And let me just say, it's pretty good. I like the arcs like that. For example, there was this episode on Ryloth where we get to see this clone who is about to turn in the Bad Batch. However, he's like, nah, actually, I want to side with you guys. You guys are pretty chill. And yeah, I don't like the Empire and how they're treating us, you know? So I'm going to turn on the other guy. So he goes to like the other clones and he's like, yo, brothers, guys, we're being used. Stand by me if you think we should fight against this, or or hold up your defenses if you think we're doing the right thing. And I like how we get to see some diversity among the clones. Some of them drop their weapons, others don't, and it's such an interesting thing, especially like the episode with the command chip inside Rekka's brain. Again, another aspect of the clones. If there's one thing I will give this show respect about, like I will applaud it for, is the world building, especially like when it comes to the clones from the Clone Wars, because we get to see how they really like. We get to know the science behind the clones, how each clone is even more different than the last, and even though they look like each other, they are all different people. I know Clone Wars already did this, but I feel the Bad Batch only like perfected it, not just solidified it, but perfected it. So personally, I like how the aspect of what being a clone is, or what it is, what it means to be a clone, just shows in this world. And yeah, I like it because of that. Also, if we're gonna touch on the story, I would also like to point out that like almost every episode we get to meet a character from another piece of media in the Star Wars universe. For example, on Ryloth, we'll get to meet Hera, who's from Rebels, or there'll be an episode where we go to Bracca, which is from the game Jedi Fallen Order, or we'll meet Rex, who's from Clone Wars. So I like how the show, every episode we get to meet an old character, an old or new character who'll show up later on. Like there was an episode with Cad Bane, and I was like, hallelujah! So yeah, I'm glad they brought Cad Bane. Though I have no idea why the sniper girl from The Mandalorian is here. If anything, shouldn't she be like eons younger? Like damn, like she should be like really young, cause the time difference from at this point in the time to The Mandalorian is a good 20, 24, 29 years. This show takes place almost 30 years before The Mandalorian. Why is this chick here? It doesn't make sense. But again, I liked the cameos from the other characters, and I feel like they were done mostly well. Emphasis on mostly, because believe it or not, the goddamn Martez sisters are here. Why? Granted, they are not as annoying as they were in the Clone Wars. But the only difference is because they had like 4 episodes in the Clone Wars. Here they only fought 1. But still, why are they here? Why does Disney keep pushing them? No one likes the Martez sisters. Please never bring them back again, alright? Please, just don't. Though again, I did like other cameos. For example, Rex, Bracca. You know, when I went to Bracca, I was like, wait a minute. If this takes place after Revenge of the Sith, shouldn't Cal Kestis be on Bracca? Like, shouldn't we see him trying to get rid of his Jedi identity? Shouldn't we see him like try to fit in with the people? Yo, this is crazy, people. Yo, Cal Kestis. Obviously, we didn't meet Cal Kestis because, again, this show takes place basically right after Revenge of the Sith. So sadly, but again, it was nice seeing Bracca. It was nice going to like all these other crazy planets. And oh my god. And Kamino. Let's talk about the last 2 episodes, episode 15 and 16. Episode 15 was a really good episode. I like it. It was very climactic and very emotional. This is where we go to Kamino for the last time, and we get to see like the destruction of the town. And I was like, god damn. That scene alone broke me. It was such an impactful scene. Because Kamino is where it all started. That's where the clones were born and like how we got the Clone Wars. But now, we're saying goodbye to this planet. We're saying goodbye to the Clone Wars era, the Republic. Like, this was the nail on the coffin. Like, throughout the whole season, up until this moment, we were seeing how the Republic was slowly transitioning to the Empire. But the minute Kamino was destroyed, that was the final nail in, or that was like what, like, you know, what they hit the nail in the head or nail in the coffin, whatever the saying is. That was the last step. This was, you know, we were now fully in Imperial days. We had officially switched from the Republic to the Empire. And it's so interesting because I don't think we've ever seen something as big as this, or something like time-lapsing as this in the Star Wars history. Because I know, like, my favorite period of Star Wars is, like, in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. And I don't think we've ever seen something like this before, where something with all the empty rooms and the clone chambers emptied out and, like, everything is gone. And, like, the whole place just sinks to the bottom. That was emotional as hell. And I thought they would have followed it up with a good episode 16. Sadly, they didn't. Episode 16 didn't even feel like a finale at all. Episode 16 just kind of felt like a regular episode. Episode 15 was like so climactic, and then episode 16 was just kind of, you know, we just need an extra episode to like end the season on. So it's like, we don't mind. And I'm like, that's a bit weird. Like it did not feel like a last episode at all. Granted, I know this show has been renewed for season 2. Yes, I do know that. So I do know that The Bad Batch has been renewed for season 2, and obviously they need like a lead into season 2. But I kind of wish episode 16 was a bit more climactic, like left us a bit more on a cliffhanger. But that's just me. So yeah. the show, not as good as it could have been. It definitely could have been improved in a lot of areas. I do remember there was this like one dumb filler episode with like this cafe bartender owner named Sit, and they had to like get some bats out of like a cave out of a mountain, and she was being overthrown by another mafia. I'm like, what the hell is this? Is this a filler episode? In a 16 episode season, we actually have time for filler episodes. Are we really that out of ideas? However, again, the filler episodes are like very few. I can only count like 3 in my head so far, so we're like fine on filler. It's not so much to the point of it being ridiculous, but like, come on guys, do better. Like it's only 16 episodes. I'm sure you can pull through. And yeah, so again, there were a few good episodes I liked. As mentioned, I loved episode 1. Some of my favorite pieces of Star Wars ever. I liked episode 2. It was a nice lead-in, a nice cool down after episode 1. I liked episode 8 and 9. Episode 8 was dealing with Crosshair's return where they fought on Braca. Episode 9 was with Cad Bane, so I obviously liked that. I liked the Ryloth 2-parter. That was pretty good in my opinion. Not the best, but still really good. I also liked episode 14 and 15. Those two are really good. 16 definitely could have been better. I really wish we got a better finale. But so overall, I think that's how many episodes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, at least 9 episodes from this season that were good. 9 out of 16. That's more or less average. What is wrong with me? And yeah. So I guess let's talk about the animation, because for some reason I think I neglected that. The animation in this show is amazing, spectacular. Again, it feels like we haven't left the Clone Wars era. This animation